hit go live on that. And there we go.
If I start to get all choppy, let me know. I'll switch my Wi-Fi.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Happy Hour Podcast pregame episode. Of course, my name's Ray. We're on YouTube Live, and I'm coming to you with one of our good friends, actually the man who kind of inspired the podcast. We talk about him all the time. Matt's not here yet. Apparently, he's in the fucking mountains. Like he just messaged. He's like, yeah, I'm not sure. I might have to come in hot because I'm on my way to the mountains. And I'm like, okay, cool. So, and then of course we're also
waiting. Doing in the mountains.
Yeah. I don't know. I think like they're just going up to like have like vacation or something like that in the mountains. So, I mean, I don't know, but maybe he's going to Man Mountain. I don't know. I've known Matt.
He was really high last night, talking about still being on a trip from when we were, in our teens. So I'm curious on what he's doing up in the mountains.
Yeah. And of course, this is our Friendsgiving episode. And for anybody that might be joining us live or seeing this on YouTube, this will be chopped up, and starting at 8:00 Eastern time, we will be recording our regular weekly episode, which will probably be an hour and a half extended episode for our listeners. And, everybody watching at home, of course, YouTube, you get the whole shabam. However long we go on this is how long it's going to go on YouTube. So we got all kinds of, fun shit and fun stories, I mean, dude, like since you're on, pretty much this podcast came to be, and I think I told this story before, because I think we were hanging out at your house one night and I was pretty much like, hey, I think I showed you some of the old Happy Hour TV stuff or whatever.
Yeah, we were watching some of those old episodes.
Yeah.
And it's when Stone Cold's podcast really was getting big. Jericho's podcast had just come out.
Yeah.
And you and I were bullshitting about that. And I'm like, dude, like you should do this, because you and I always have crazy stories.
Yeah.
And we always, it's every time we hang out, we tell the craziest stories. I'm like, dude, you're entertaining,
Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing. And it registered, but it registered, but I also kind of didn't register at the same time. And then, there was a day, like, it wasn't really long after my Hall of Fame show where I was just kind of like, okay, wrestling is kind of drifting off a little bit. I went into the EWA Hall of Fame in, 2019. And I'm like, well, this as a full-time thing is officially done. So what am I going to do with myself? Like, I still need to some point entertain people, whether, it's 10 people or 10,000 people, and that's when I sat there and I thought, I was like, I was like, Mike said, bring back the show as the podcast. And I'm like, all right, I have no idea how to fucking do a podcast, but I'll buy a mic, I'll get some stuff, and I'll just plug in the mic and we'll talk. And that's that. And if it becomes something, it becomes something. If not, we get to have fun. And I mean, 100%, like, you get to do this with me, Matt, I don't get to see Matt really much at all. So it gives me an excuse to see Matt. You said you listened to the show because, you're over in Missouri, we're in Maryland. So, it kind of, gives you that little bit of thing of, hey, you're kind of hanging out with your buddies and laughing with your buddies, but you're not actually hanging out with your buddies and laughing with them.
Yeah. I mean, because, we moved out here right at COVID.
Yeah.
So I haven't really been out anywhere, haven't met anyone other than the people I work with. I mean, I work with some cool people, but, it's tough, man. You get out here, don't have babysitters.
Yeah.
So it's been tough. We try to talk. We all talk, through that text message. But man, it's awesome to hear, when Matt, you can tell when Matt's fucked up. After you guys do your shots, you both are a little fucked up. And it's cool, man. It brings me back to when we were all hanging out back home.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was funny because when the show first started, like, I had so much background in, being in front of cameras, being in front of a microphone, being able to tell a story, in some way, shape, or form. And like Matt, and also, Mike, who he has a lot of stuff going on, so he doesn't come in as much anymore. But they had never done anything like this, and Matt was always just kind of in the beginning kind of quiet. And I sat there and I told him, I was like, dude, just be you.
And that's what we I think you and I had talked about it. I'm like, Matt is so funny.
Yeah.
He is a character in itself.
Yeah.
And when he opens up, man, it's gold.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing. And the cool thing about it is like, like with this show, like, me and Matt, we all have that like unique chemistry, with one another that we can just kind of feed off the energy that we're all, putting out and, just all that fun stuff. So, I mean, it's been a fun ride. I don't plan this, to stop anytime soon. It's going to roll every week until, for some reason I can't do it anymore. But it's just fun. But I was sitting there and I was like, I got to bring the text thread to life. I was like, I want to do a Friendsgiving episode, and the show starts.
That text thread, you guys are going to get me in trouble at work. Like it's going to happen. I looked down the other day, and there's big old buds of pot, and I'm like, oh shit! So I lock my phone. 10, 15 minutes later, Billy's sending us pictures of boobs. I'm like, man, you guys, I have to hide my phone now at work and just carry the work phone.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. And like, we sit there and like some of the shit that we, discuss, obviously some of that stuff we could probably never discuss on the podcast because we discuss real life stuff along with, just some of the fucked up things, we're probably going to get into tonight. But I just sit there and I just also think, what the fuck's wrong? And I mean, it's hilarious because all you guys, and I'll probably say this again later, all you guys know a lot about guns. I don't know anything about guns. So you guys will start talking about guns. I'll just kind of sit there like, what meme can I place at the right time? Like, or what
like, gift? Yeah, when you guys start talking about Marvel and stuff like that. Like, I like the movies. You guys are on a whole different level than me.
Yeah. And then sometimes Matt will be high and Matt will just start talking about whatever. And it's just kind of like, okay, let's go along with this. Like, for example, earlier, you right as we were getting ready to go on the show, you sent us a photo of people at the liquor store on horses. They're on fucking horses at the liquor store.
I'm telling you, it's a different fucking world out here. Yeah, man. So I'm like, let me stop, get smokes, get a 6-pack. I have Jaeger that I'll pull out a little bit later.
Yeah.
But I'm like, let me get some beer. And I go to leave and I'm like, what is this hold up for? And I get up there and there's 2 people on horses just leaving the liquor store. Like it's not a big deal.
Yeah. I mean, dude, like it's amazing some of the shit that you see, like now a liquor store you went to, does it have like a drive-up window?
Yes. Everything in the Midwest. Dude, everything, every pizza joint, every place has a drive-up window.
So these fuckers just rolled up to the drive-through window or drive-up window on fucking horses. Like, yeah. So how were they carrying their beer? Like, did they have it like kind of hunched on a horse, or were they like riding with like,
Dude, I was so worried about getting home. Honestly, I wasn't paying attention. Just get the fuck out of my way.
The horse is just sitting there, just looking over, just looks at the guy at the window, and he's just like, nay, motherfucker. But of course, we're still waiting for Matt to come through. Billy will be coming through, hopefully. I know he was getting ready to come through with all that. But no, I mean, man, what do you guys got going on for like Thanksgiving? Anything special for Thanksgiving?
Yeah, I mean, really with me being out here and not having much family. I mean, my brother-in-law did move in with us, so we got him, but we're just kind of staying at home.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to Jess's aunt and uncle's like we always do, but they sold their house, so it's not going to be as much of the family. And also, her grandmother just passed away a few weeks ago, so her actual her celebration of life is tomorrow. So we're doing all that tomorrow, and then going and doing the whole Thanksgiving. Like, dude, it's amazing how quick this year has went by. Like, it just literally like rocket shipped right through, and it's been great. I mean, things have been great for the podcast as well. I mean, obviously you're doing good with work. I'm doing good with work. Matt's doing good with work. We haven't really been strained as much. I'm not a religious guy, but we're kind of blessed with the fact that we had jobs all throughout COVID and was able to provide for our families. And, a lot of people weren't able to do that,
Yeah, I mean, if anything, for me, it's been busier with COVID. It's crazy right now for us, man. But being in any type of industry where you're shipping and receiving right now, it's crazy.
You have a lot of shit on back order.
Yeah. I mean, there's everything you try to do. It's because COVID.
Oh, dude, like I told you guys a little bit about it, but I got my COVID shot like on Monday. And dude, like that fucking, I've had so many lingering symptoms from that third shot, like
Yeah.
that booster shot. Like I was at work and I was driving to North Carolina and it felt like I drove through a fucking portal. Like literally, like I was normal and then portal. And then like I was nauseated, I was sweating, my head hurt. I didn't know where I was. I went into a customer's office, delivered a printer, talked to the customer, all that, don't remember any of it. Fucking drove back. Eventually I made it to a fucking rest stop and I was like, I have to stop because if not, this van's gonna end up going off the side of the road. And I just walked around, drank something, got myself together, started to feel better, and then drove back to my office. And like here and there, like some of the headaches just randomly pop up. Or, you know, when I was talking to you guys last night in the text thread, literally, I was just laying on my couch downstairs, down here, just going, fuck my life. I don't fucking feel good. And dude, I mean, I don't know, like, you know, if people want to get the vaccine, they can get the vaccine or whatever. But you saw, you know, I raised a little bit of hell on Facebook or whatever and all that because I was just kind of like, fuck the rest of y'all, peace out. I ain't getting any more. You know, after the way I felt after that, I'm just kind of like, you know, I'm one of those guys. That's the most needles I've had put in my body in like the last 5 or 6 years. So, you know, my body probably definitely went through a culture shock of what's all this shit, you know, that's going on and being put, you know, into this.
Yeah. So I think you and I kind of look at that the same where, man, I got mine and I got mine for the reasons that I wanted to get mine, you know, those shots. I didn't give a fuck what they were talking about on the news.
Yeah.
Or what we were talking about in the thread. I did it for my own reasons and I don't care if anybody else gets it, man. I could care less.
I mean, that's the thing. Like we so badly live in a society where everybody's worried about what everybody else is doing. Like, for example, with this podcast, we have very offensive, very vulgar, very over the top stuff. But we live in a world where somebody will listen to it and they'll hate it. And then they'll go online and want to find a way to make the show stop. It's like, if you listen to it and you don't like it, there's a simple solution.
Turn it off.
Just don't fucking listen to it. Don't watch it and forget that it exists. Like, that's the whole fucking thing. But people just, they take shit so personally. And it's just, you know, it's like, come on now. Like, or people want to go on and troll. And it's just kind of like, okay, you know, and then they'll troll and, you know, they'll troll and then they'll end up saying,
where the hell's Billy? Because that's the biggest fucking troll they got on.
Yeah, let's text him real quick, see where he is. So let's,
because he's the same way, Ray. Like he will start shit just to start shit. Yeah, he is one of those assholes.
But I mean, that's the thing though, like he does it for fun, but there's a lot of people out there who will literally stick there. Like Billy doesn't care. Billy will stick with it. Like the status I posted, somebody, you know, wanted to come on and troll me, ended up sticking their foot in their mouth because they were like, oh, it's a foreign substance or whatever, blah, 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 this, that, and another. He said it says waiting, so he must not have tried the new link. So here, try the new link.
He's probably stoned.
But so like, no, like they came on and they mentioned something about, oh, well, you know, are you going to stop drinking alcohol? You know, alcohol is something that's not supposed to be in your family. And I just went on this whole story of, you know, my dad died of alcoholism, right? Like, you know, and he was an Army veteran, 3 Purple Hearts, you know, blah, 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 this, that, and another, you know. I guess, you know, I'll just go to his grave and say, oh, well, so-and-so, you know, they said that if you just wanted to have done this, you know, blah, blah. And then
people don't think, man, they don't think they get behind their fucking keyboard.
Yeah.
And this is what you and I we were talking about last night. Like they get behind their keyboard and they think that the reins are off, that they can say whatever they want. And that's why I cannot do Facebook comments.
Every since like I had to recreate my other profile because I got locked out. I barely even post much anyways. But you know, when I do, it's just kind of like, look, I'm not arguing, or I'll drop something there and watch everybody else argue in the comments. And it's just kind of like, you know, and not to mention, like, my status was about the vaccine, kind of what I just said, like, you know, y'all on your own, whatever. And everybody was kind of like, we didn't get the shot. I don't want to get the vaccine, blah, blah, blah. So it was all that. And then they came in and it's like, you're the minority in the conversation. So that, and then it's like afterwards, they deleted their they deleted their comments and they personally messaged me and said, I'm sorry. And it's like, Okay, that's cool. But you're personally messaging me after everybody already saw you trying to make me look like an idiot or a dick. Meanwhile, you
For
could
no
just
fucking reason.
meanwhile, you could have just personally said you were sorry, because guess what? I'm not taking my comment down, because then people will see that and go, I wonder why he mentioned this person's name in his comment. Why? Because you were being fucking out of line and said shit that you probably shouldn't even have worried about it. Not to mention, this person doesn't like any of my photos. They don't comment on anything else. The only time they comment on something is if it's something that could be roped into a political type thing, and that's the only time they comment. And
I know so many people like that, Ray, and it's so infuriating. I can't. That's why I say, man, I can't fucking do Facebook. It would cause a rift in our family. Like it's awful, man. It's awful. Because honestly, right, I don't care. I don't care what people think. So I said the whole thing with the vaccine. I got the vaccine because I wanted to get it.
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody else thinks.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing. And it's like, and has Billy used Zoom before? Because I'm not sure if he knows how to get into Zoom, because it's like, he's like, oh, well, it's wait. So I think he's in the first meeting, because originally I had it set for a certain time. Me and you started a little bit before.
I don't know what Billy knows how to use, other if it's not a bowl or a bong or
he was
a blunt.
Yeah, he was telling us the other night that he saw a UFO out back, and we're like, Billy, you were just high, man. Like that.
I really wish I didn't have to jump off of that call when Matt pocket dialed us. But I was walking in the house. You guys are showing me that what was the video on Netflix?
Oh,
that you guys...
at the beginning of Nocturnal Animals or whatever.
Yeah. So I have that playing in the fucking background, and I got a 6 and a 2-year-old in my house. I'm like, nope, guys, gotta go.
So what I'm gonna do real quick is, while we're waiting for the other guys to come in, we have an actual skit that we do here on the pregame episode as well, and it's the Urban Dictionary Term of the Night. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get that ready. Let me just go ahead and pull that up, and we will do the Urban Dictionary Time of the Night. I wish Billy was here for this, because he probably would appreciate this. The term of the night is Mary Jane piss in your face fun time. And the definition is the same act as cheesing. That is to say, huffing cat urine, excreted when marking a cat's territory. It is a much easier and subtle way to get high than using illegal substances. The results are that of a great acid trip, immediately transferring the conscious to the boob universe. It's pretty awesome there. So yeah. So
sounds like Billy and Matt.
Yeah. So that sounds like if Billy and Matt were to have sex and have a child, their child will be Mary Jane piss in your face fun time. And that's exactly what it would be. So he's like, give me the ID. It's like, click the
link you just said. So I was thinking about this, right? I gotta get my Jaeger. So every time you go on one of your crazy acid ridden the stories, I'm just gonna start chugging. Like that's how we're gonna do this. So I'm gonna get the Jaeger and another beer.
All right, sweet. So for everybody, in case anybody's watching at home, pretty much we're still trying to get through. I think Billy's a little high and he can't get into the Zoom feed. So what I am going to do is go ahead and try to get this sent to him again, and then see if he can get on. So and
not that difficult. I don't understand. You click the link that's in the comment.
Oh, there it is, Billy Bob. All right, so I see him. So there it is. Boom, emit. So Billy Bob, he should be coming through in 1 second, and maybe I will reread the Urban Dictionary Term of the Night for Billy once he's through. And he said, it says you'll let me in soon, which I've already admitted him. So, before this is over with, we're all going to have to be admitted probably to some sort of mental ward.
Oh, so, shit.
Dude, it's funny because like me and Matt bring this up all the time. I had so many bad nights with Jaeger. Oh. It's insane. It is completely insane how many bad nights I've had with Jaeger.
Yeah, dude, it was fight or fuck for me. That's what it was. Lots of fighting. Lots and lots of fighting.
Lots of it's like
fighting.
Unfortunately there was lots of fighting, not as much fucking.
Yeah.
Or it's you're fighting to not be fucked. And that's just, it's like, you have this man going, I'm gonna fuck you tonight. You're like, no, you're not. This isn't gonna happen.
You're gonna do this all night, aren't you?
But man, dude, also it's kind of funny that our crews never ran into each other because we had mutual friends.
And I don't know how. Like we had to be at the same party at the same time.
Dude, I'm willing to bet that we were probably at a Five Finger. I went to see Five Finger at Wrecker one of the first times they were there, and Jess told me that every single time they've come to town, you went. So, I'm pretty sure the night that we tried to steal that gigantic fish, in the front, you were probably there that night, but I was just so toasted. I probably wouldn't have known you if, I bumped into you. And,
you would have, because we hung out with the same. So we knew each other through Heather.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we ended up, really hanging out when you started dating Jess, but I mean, Heather was a good mutual friend of both of ours.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. All her birthday parties, her parties, I don't know how we didn't run in. We probably did.
We may have, and we were probably all just so trashed that we just didn't realize it. And the whole thing is it's funny because, my best friend is Chris, which shout out to Chris. Today is actually his birthday. So happy birthday if he happens to tune in at any point. And also, me and him had an episode where we told a lot of our stories, but his brother Dave, which Dave, he cuts your hair, he cuts my hair. So it's funny. And, part of me sits there and thinks that, back then, if those two crews would have came together, like Dundalk would have just burned. Like Dundalk would still be on fire. There would be so much bad shit that would have happened to so many good people that, that Dundalk, like if you ever heard a quote, some men just like to watch the world burn, that would have been us because, it was weird because the first time I met you guys, it's weird that I'm one of those types of people. I get along with everybody. I can talk to anybody, blah, blah, blah. But, me and Jess were still kind of new. And
were you at the Destroy Everything party?
No, I was not.
Okay.
I was not. That might've been a little bit before me and Jess got together. The first time I met you guys was at your Halloween party. And that was when I brought that rare, Russian whiskey or whatever. What the hell was that shit? I brought some sort of weird,
at my house in Dundalk.
Yeah. I brought something. I forgot what it was. We were
doing it out of the ice luge.
Yes. And that's the thing. And I was like, and like I told Jess, I was like, I hope your friends like me. She's like, don't worry about it. They're just like you. You'll be fine. I'm like, okay. And I was just kind of nervous to kind of be me. And I saw you guys acting like me. And I was just kind of like, oh, all right. You know what? Fuck, these guys don't give a shit. Shit. So,
dude, I'd get a couple beers in me and I didn't care. I never cared.
Well, I mean, the fun part is at least Billy figured out the Zoom link. So he figured out the Zoom link. And
he's gotten in.
Yeah, so he's in. So I think now it's just kind of at the point that he's probably like, wait, we need a camera and a microphone for this? Oh, now he's gone. So he was just like that. He's gone. So this Friendsgiving episode may very well turn into me and Mike, which is absolutely fine because this is what happens when you do things live. And this is also what happens when you have friends who get high all the time.
Why didn't Matt's dumbass tell you? We've only been fucking planning this. I'm calling him.
Yeah.
I'm calling Billy.
Well, there's Billy right there. It says he's back in the thing. So let me admit him again.
Yo.
What the fuck are you doing?
Dude, I'm trying to get it fucking going, but my shit's fucking retarded. It's like my camera failed to start, and then it's like.
This is why Justin Slagle doesn't like you.
I am not technologically good or whatever the hell.
All right. It looks like you're back in. Turn your camera on. You'll be able to talk.
My camera's being occupied by other.
All right. Goodbye.
He can access it through his phone too. If he can, if he downloads Zoom or whatever, he can probably just pull it up through his phone.
I love that guy. So Ray, you got to send me your address.
Okay, I sure will. And
because I now that I have Billy's text messages open, yeah, I got to send you some stuff that I completely fucking forgot about. We were gonna send it for the show.
Really?
So I'm gonna send it anyway.
Nice.
What the fuck is he doing? And
I don't
where's
know. Like I wish that we could have like a live feed of what's going on in his mind right now. And one of the cool things is
No.
you know all the
No,
surgeries
don't.
and stuff that he has, like those crazy ass stories he has from like the veterans hospitals and all that bullshit. Like that's just, you know, some of that shit's insane. Like, you know, we were sitting there the one night and he was telling us what fucking there was a guy just screaming in the room with him or something. Like the dude didn't have legs or some shit. I'm just kind of like, holy fucking absolute shit. Like, what the fuck is this?
dude? He's got some crazy stories about when he had that tumor and even now the stuff that he deals with, man. It's a miracle that crazy dude is alive. And I'm with you. I'm not religious at all, but thank God he is, to share all of the crazy stories. I mean, you know, that was when you said you wanted to do this. That was part of it, man. I'm like, we got to get Billy on. We got to have. You never know with him, right?
Yeah.
We got to have this, man.
We have to have it happen.
Get it to fucking work.
Even if 15 people see this ever, those 15 people will be like, what the fuck, you know, am I getting myself into? And I mean, that's the thing. Like, as I said, you know, I don't care if anybody ever sees this. We're having fun, whatever. It is what it is. It's out there. People,
Dude, you've had some awesome episodes though. Like
dude, there's so
some
many
of the people and the people lately, man, you've had some crazy guests on that have given you guys a hard time.
Yes.
Some people that I don't think I would. How's he in twice?
There's two Billy Bobs. He must have did it from his phone. That's what I'm assuming, is that there's one on the computer and there's one on the phone. There he is. What's up, buddy?
Connecting to audio. God.
This is entertainment within itself. I was hoping that, like, you know, Billy would come through and he'd be wearing like a suit and a tie, like just like looking like all like.
I was gonna put some like softcore porn on in the background.
It's just
be like, hey, I gotta get a beer, and you would. Because I was like, well, I can't put real porn on because then it'll get kicked off of YouTube.
Well, I mean, it's a lot better than Facebook because you know, Lizard Man would totally kick us in a heartbeat. There he is. What's up, buddy?
No.
Nope.
No
audio.
Nope.
You know what we should do is we should subtitle Billy. We should find a way to subtitle Billy. Hey guys, what's up? This is Billy. I have a dildo in my anus. And I cannot get my audio to connect. I wish I had like a little program where you could put in like captions and like when he yelled fuck, I could just put fuck in like and people see that. I wonder if a third Billy Bob's gonna come through because I hope that like it's like
now can you fucking hear me?
it's just like a window of Billy Bob's. We hear him now, but now there's no video.
This is fucking bullshit.
Now it's
safe driving.
now he's back and there's still no video.
Yeah, dude, it's got me in safe driving mode. I don't understand what the fuck is happening.
You're not even allowed to drive.
There he is.
Yeah,
there we
I don't
go.
even know if my driver's license good.
And while you were trying to figure out the internet, we were doing the pre-show exclusive, which was the Urban Dictionary term of the night, which, you know, I said you would like. And the Urban Dictionary term of the night is Mary Jane piss in your face one time.
Mary
And
Jane pissed in her face one time.
no, fun time. So piss in your face, fun time. And that's the same act as cheesing. That is to say, huffing cat urine. As secreted when marking a cat's territory, it is much easier and subtler to get high than the usual illegal substances. The results are that of a great acid trip, immediately transferring the conscious to the boob universe, and it's pretty awesome there.
Bro, I got 2 cats. Don't threaten me with a good time.
Billy's like, let's see. All right, so I have 2 cats, and I can send you to the boob universe. Sign me up.
Yeah, dude, I got 2 cats and catheters, man. I can make them piss without even them pissing on me.
Someone just comes into Billy's house and there's catheters hooked up to his cat. And they're like, what the fuck is that? Dude, look, don't ask questions, but here, try this.
Just huff this. It's going to smell like shit. It's going to be great. I promise you. You're about to see inside of titties.
And, Billy, we're sitting there talking like it's insane. Like our text thread, like some of the shit that we just send. And like Mike said that he has to he can't even look at his phone at work anymore because it's like one instance you guys are sending weed and, drugs and there's all kinds of other stuff. And then in that instance, there's guns and then there's boobs and then, just random shit just meshed together into that text thread.
Yeah, yes, Ray, you sent me today a picture of the back of a truck and it says, I eat ass after Taco Bell. This is the kind of random shit.
Well, I mean, would you rather eat ass before Taco Bell? I mean, I feel like it's more of a you eat the ass after the Taco Bell.
It's like an adventure, like a surprise pack if you do it after Taco Bell. It might come with dessert.
Yeah.
Chocolate.
And real quick, what we're going to do, we're going to wrap on the pregame episode and we're going to start the audio version of the program, which will be on all major podcast platforms. So ladies and gentlemen, for anybody seeing the pregame episode, thank you for tuning in to the pregame episode. And we're going to roll right into our audio episode. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Happy Hour podcast. Of course, this is Ray. Matt is lost somewhere in the fucking back roads in the mountains. I don't know what the fuck. Yeah, I don't know. He just said he was going to the mountains, and I'm like, how the fuck are you going to the mountains? Like, like what? And he's not even coming live via satellite, but he's probably going to come in hot. And of course, this is our first annual Friendsgiving episode for the Happy Hour podcast. Of course, I'm here with our good friend Mike and our good friend Billy. Steve and Matt will probably be popping in at some point. This is probably going to be about an hour and a half episode right here on all of our major podcast platforms. Probably about a 2-hour episode for everybody watching at YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube to get all of our content and to see all of our exclusive content. Now, like guys, like it's crazy. What can you guys have? Any of you guys? I haven't myself, but have any of you guys had any crazy shit go down on Thanksgiving or Christmas? Because of course Thanksgiving and Christmas is right around the fucking corner, and I don't recall myself having any like really crazy like family type shit happen on Thanksgiving or Christmas.
I think Katie, my wife, baked a turkey with all the gizzards and the plastic shit inside. But like after Thanksgiving, yeah. Took my junkie brother fucking hunting. And he was smoking cigarettes in the fucking tree. And of course, we didn't fucking see anything because he's over there fucked up and doing bad, dumb things. That's the closest. I ain't ever had no horrible shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't had anything crazy. I mean, my brother is a rebel through and through. Ray,
yeah.
you know him.
Yeah.
He will do things just to be a rebel. And yeah. I remember he's covered now, but at one time he got a tattoo on his hand of a heart, and it says indoor pain in German. He was so excited that he got it before Thanksgiving, so when he would reach across the table, my dad would have to look at it.
You said it's in German?
It's in German, and it says indoor pain.
It probably says I love cock.
Probably.
That'd be great, especially like imagine that like your dad looks at it and he just sits there and he goes, you know that says I love
I love dicks, right?
No, it doesn't say that. Like, God, no. Look, Dad, we're gonna go huff cat piss, and we're going to go to.
That's why he's not friends with you on Facebook anymore, Billy.
I'm huffing cat piss.
And of course, what we're talking about is our Urban Dictionary term of the night, which you can hear exclusively on our pregame episode, which is before every episode that we have here for our audio forms. And we had Matt accidentally pocket dialed us like last week, and we were all talking, and Billy fucking was sitting there telling us how he saw a fucking UFO out back, and we're like,
"Hey man, hey, look here, dude. Hang on, I was stoned. Got it.
Shocking.
I got it. But no, for real, dude. It might have been like because I've seen people play with those like floaty boy Chinese lantern fucking things.
Yeah.
I've seen them, like a herd of them go by one time, and I thought they were the Chinese lanterns. I'm not sure. They looked like Chinese lanterns. But I don't know. I'm not professional. But dude, that flew over past my house into the park. That some bitch was like bloop 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 bloop, moving slow, and it was bright as a fucking light, dude. That shit was weird. Yes, and I was not sober, but that shit was weird as hell. Give me a break here. I got brain damage and I was fucked up.
There's really somebody walking their dog with a flashlight, and Billy's sitting there looking out the window. He's like, "Oh my god!" And it's like only like waist high, and he's like, "Guys, look at that UFO!" And they're just kind of like, "Dude, no, it's a fucking UFO,
Billy, man. Billy, are you caught up on the podcast? Because they said what it was on the last podcast.
Really?
It was the flashlight on your fucking phone. It was the reflection.
We said that Billy was probably sitting there fucking with his phone, messing around with our text thread, and he probably turned the flashlight on facing towards himself. And that's what he saw in the window. And it's just like, oh my God, look, oh my God, it's a UFO. And no matter where his head would move because the phone's
following me.
And of course, Billy, you've had some brain surgeries or whatever and all that.
Yeah.
And some of the fucking stories that you have told us from you being in the hospital and terrorizing nurses and just other people are fucking great.
Bro, I got stuffed into like a sausage tube a couple months ago that they're doing an MRI. And I was larger then than I am now. I've lost like 40 pounds.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I lost 40 pounds in like a month and a half.
That's good shit.
So, but it's shitty and I'm hungry all the time. But yeah, anyways, they put me in the MRI machine, right? And they set up like the IVs for like the whatever to sew stuff in your head and what, I don't know, imaging solution. It's weird. But they shot that in me, and then they're like, all right, you're gonna go in the tube and we're ready. We'll shoot the imaging solution in you and blah blah blah. So I'm like, okay, I'm laying down on the board, and like the hole's like this big, and it was like a fat dick trying to go in a little hole. Like, dude, they shoved me like halfway in, so it was like the tip was in, and then they're
like just the tip. That's
just
it.
Just to see how it feels, just for a second.
Here's me. Here's the tube. It was like, funk, funk, and I'm like, guys, this is gonna work. They're like, yeah, it'll work out. I'm like, I'm full. Like, I'm filling the tube up, and they're like, it's fine. Just keep your hands on your side, and we'll get you in. I was like, oh, okay. So they get me in this fucking tube, right? And I'm up to my shoulders, and they're squeezing me in, and I can hear my skin like skipping across the plastic. I'm like, fuck me, man. So yeah, they got me stuffed in all the way, and like, dude, I can't breathe, and I'm like, I've hit the emergency button. I'm like, fuck.
Wait, you have a safe word for your MRI?
Dude, they have an emergency fuck me button. Like, it's like, I'm in there like this, like arms crossed, all mushed up in this fucking tube.
It's like he's going down a fucking water slide. Like he's going opposite. Like his arms are crossed there, he's shooting him through the fucking tube.
Have you had an MRI done?
Me? No, I haven't.
Dude, it's the worst shit ever. You're in dude, I'm like claustrophobic now.
Yeah.
But like, you're in this tiny motherfucking tube and you can't move, and it's loud as balls, and you're in there. But yeah, dude, it's awful. I hit the button and I was like, yeah, guys, this isn't gonna fucking work. They're like, okay, we'll take you upstairs to the wide bore machine. I'm like, you got a bigger machine? They're like, yeah. I'm like, fuck, let's go.
Just started there.
Like, fuck.
Hey, you know what's funny? And my wife, she works for advanced radiology. So she works in radiology. She works in the call center. And there's a lot of people that are like 600-700 pounds. They can't fit in an MRI machine. Right. So what they have to do is there's like this machine that they have that they used to do MRIs on like cows and like horses and shit. And they have to put them on that in order to do the MRI stuff. And it's crazy. Like, but I mean, that's the thing. Like, they can't fit. So, they can't just sausage everybody into
right
MRI machines,
it was shit. It was fucking shit.
Just imagine that though. Ethel goes to get her MRI done, and they're measuring. They're like giving Betsy the cow an MRI, and then she's standing there behind the cow. It's like cow, her, a horse, then another cow, and it's just kind of like, all right, come on, like it fucking horse shit and cow shit just all over the place, and
just
she's
one random fat bitch.
And what Mike's doing, you missed it. Every time I say some far out off the wall shit, Mike said he was going to take a shot of Jaeger, and I'm like, dude, you're like fucking in for a long fucking night.
Yeah, you're in for a long haul, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I say dumb shit all the time. Katie half the time is like,
dude, this is part of Ray and his podcast. This is part of it, man. Everybody, you throw one thing at him and he's like, wait, man. Like he's a fucking stoner, and he's not, right? But he's like a stoner. He's like, wait, what if this happened?
I mean, speaking of stoner, are we sure that Matt just didn't get really, really high? And
he might be just
I'm going for a drive, and he just sees mountains, so he assumes he's in the mountains or on his way to the mountains.
He's looking for my UFO.
I never assume anything with Matt.
He has his cell phone on with the light shining in the sky, and he's just like, I'm going to find you.
I'm chasing you, bitch.
Yeah. And Billy, we talked a little bit while you were trying to get connected. Of course, that whole fiasco of you trying to get connected. We were talking about you were telling us, like, I think like probably about maybe 9-10 months ago, we had a call. We were talking about a guy that you had in a room with you. And didn't he didn't have like legs or something, like the dude was like giving like the nurses all kinds of shit, but like wasn't he like
he shit on the floor
legs or some shit? Like yeah.
All right. So his name, I think it was Frank or Fred or some shit like that. My memory's shitty, and that was a long time ago. So I'm pretty sure it was Frank. But I was in a room with him, and at first I was in a room with him and 2 other guys. And we're sitting in there. They take the one guy out who was a COVID case. They took his ass out. I'm sitting there fucking sick, having seizures. I'm like, fuck me. I'm going to die because of COVID, man, here. Like, they came in with moon suits to get his ass. But anyway, I was in with him, and there's a guy next to me, and he got taken out shortly after, and then it was just me and this guy, Frank.
Did they take him out with moon suits also? Because I feel like this is kind of like a sci-fi movie. Like, they come in with these suits and they're just plucking people out, and they're like, get on the UFO and let's go.
Right. Well, I was in the hospital like at the peak of the pandemic. So they were just fucking throwing people in rooms. And I didn't really think about it until I looked at fucking timing and shit. I was like, fuck, that was pandemic time. So yeah, I'm pretty sure the old dude across from me didn't make it because he was fucking not good. But old boy Frank, he was in there for it was like heart failure or something. And he had his legs amputated, and he had one leg or some shit. I think it was one. But yeah, he was sitting in there fucking asking for help because he had to piss, and he was hitting the call button, hitting it, and nobody would answer. And I mean, I get it, like hospitals get busy, but he's hitting it, and I'm like, "Fuck, Frank, you all right over?" He's like, "I gotta piss." I'm like, "All right, man. Well, hit your call button and see if they come." And I'm sitting there waiting, and he's over there fucking hitting the call button, and they're answering but not coming. And I get up and I'm like, fuck it, Frank, I'll go over there and fucking see what's going on. And I'm Mr. fucking Seizure Man, so they automatically freak out when I get off the bed. Like they have alarms on your bed. If you get up, they're gonna fucking buzz you.
Yeah, it's like you're the dude from the movie fucking Unbreakable. Like you step off the bed and your fucking body just shatters.
Well, dude, I get off the bed and it's like bloop, 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 like crazy. But I get off the fucking bed and I walk up to like the nurse's station. And I'm like, hey man, the guy in my room really needs help. He can't walk in. He's got to pee. And they're like, okay, we'll be down there in a minute. So we go down there. I go back and I'm sitting there and I'm waiting and I'm waiting and I'm waiting. And Frank is still sitting there like, God damn, I got to piss. And I'm like, Frank, they're going to come help you, man. He's like, all right. So we're sitting here waiting. We're waiting. And I'm like, fuck. And we'll go down there. I'm like, man, this fucking guy needs help, man. Y'all got to get down here. He's got to piss. they're like, "Oh, we'll be there in a second." I'm like, okay. So I walk back down to the room, I get in my bed, and Frank's like, "Fuck," and he hits the call button, and he's like, "I gotta piss," and they still didn't fucking come. So Frank turned sideways on his bed, pissed on the fucking floor. Like, dude, these motherfuckers in the hospital don't care.
Well, it'd be great if they walked in the room and they were like, "Who did this?" And like they just kind of look at you and you just go, "Well, I'm not gonna walk over to the side of his bed and piss on the floor." Like,
I'd piss on him.
Of course, it was Frank. I mean,
let me mark my turf real quick.
Frank, look, this is how you piss. All right, stop buzzing your thing. We're gonna cross the streams. All right, don't worry. I'm gonna help you. But maybe what it was is when you saw the UFO. That was Frank. That was Frank and the other guys, and the guys that got plucked out of that room by the fucking astronauts. They're on that UFO. And they're like, Billy, come on. We just huffed cat piss. We're in fucking Boot World. Like, come on, let's go. And you just
when they go into the pandemic shit, like they're wearing these yellow fucking suits with like mask holes in it. Yeah. And a lot of them will just drop that shit outside the rooms. And then they'll walk down the hallway, do whatever shit they got to do, and they got to go back in that room, go step into like the shoes and pull that shit back up, put a mask on and zip.
It's like the fucking dude from you ever see Men in Black, the fucking cockroach like alien guy that would like wear the skin suit and he just could pull his head back and I'm like, "Hey, is this better or whatever?" And it's
fucking weird, man. The hospital experiences can get weird as shit. I mean, especially when you're not well. I mean, like, dude, you got to use one of those what the fuck's it, urinals to pee.
Yeah.
So yeah, especially if you got a small dick like me. Like, dude, you gotta like. I don't just hang into like Gatorade bottles and shit. Like, bless you if you are, and then if you're hanging your shit into a urinal, bless you. I have to like stuff my balls and stuff in. All right. I'm a grower, not a shower. All right, guys. So, yeah. So you like stuff your like I stuffed my junk in there and thought I was done peeing and pulled that shit back and peed on my nurse.
Well, here's the thing: is like you say you have to stick your balls and everything in there. Like imagine like you do that, but then your balls just get stuck in that fucking.
Oh, Ray. Are you fucking kidding me? Really?
I hope Mike bought multiple things of Jaeger because Mike's gonna be passed out unconscious.
Yeah, that's where I'm at already.
Yeah.
Hey,
and I wish
if your tonsils get stuck, just rip it off.
Just pull it as hard as you can. It sounds like a Rubbermaid container opening.
Bong.
I wish Matt was here because I wanted to get on to Matt's bachelor party because
I just texted him.
Yeah, so much unfolded
during there for the bachelor party.
What's up?
I don't know if I was there for the bachelor party.
No, I don't think you were there for his. I know you were there for Mike's.
Let's not talk about Ray's.
Yes.
I don't remember much of Ray's.
I don't remember much of mine. I remember when mine started, there was like 9 drinks on the table. And I was like, I'm not drinking all those. I'll be deceased before we leave this bar.
I still don't know where my beer pong table is. I have no idea.
You brought
it. You use the beer pong table.
I know I didn't take it home.
Well, I brought, you remember I had that self-making ice luge. You can make your I had a luge mold. So we made a luge and we had it on that bus. And I think it was my friend Matt. He fucking Matty Paul, we were calling him. He fucking picked the thing up, and when the bus was in motion, he threw it off the fucking bus, the whole luge, the mold, everything, and it's just tobogganing down fucking 695, fucking as the bus just speeds up or
some
whatever.
Poor fuck ran it over.
Yeah, I think it fucking
hit a boulder
and rolled up their fucking windshield and just flew back behind their car. So
I remember going to the Avenue in White Marsh.
Yes.
We went to Tilted Kilt.
Yes, because they had those tripod beer things, and that's what kind of sent me kind of out into like Bizarro world because I think I had like 2 of those almost myself. And yeah, like when they were getting me all the mixed drinks and the shots and like I can do shots and all that stuff, but you know, I'm a beer guy. So like those fucking things, like I'm just like just chugging that fucking thing down. And I remember somewhere before we left the avenue, I think it was we made it to Friday.
Fridays was the last stop,
And
which is pretty much where I stopped remembering everything that fucking happened.
Apparently the bus broke down and like no one wanted to see anything. Yeah, like apparently like the bus broke down and like the guy like had to like have the bus like jump started or some shit like that.
I remember us crossing the Key Bridge.
Yes.
I was completely annihilated. I had texted my wife at that point and said, hey, pick me up from McGoobies.
Yes.
Which was not where we were going. Everybody's like, your wife's gonna know where to go. I'm like, yeah, we work in Hunt Valley. She knows where McGoobies is. Nobody told me it was McDougal's.
Yes, because night shifts had closed, and one of the guys apart, in the bachelor party was under 21. So I mapped it out to where he could go, everywhere with us. And McDougal's was the only club that we could get him into strip club wise. So, we went there, and I remember I started to get restless and I was like, I want to see fucking tits or whatever, when we were at the bar, and I was getting angry and they just kept on giving me shots of captains. And by the time we got to McDougal's, the lights were out. Like I was dead on arrival.
I know there was something being passed around the bus. I remember saying, I don't smoke that anymore. I just quit. Yeah. That's as much as I remember.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because it's like a divine, like even split down the middle on people saying that I smoked and I didn't smoke. I smoked and I didn't smoke. And I'm just kind of like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what happened. Like
this is where like I wish Matt was on right now.
Yeah.
Because I know
I can remember if I smoked weed.
Apparently I got kicked out of the strip club we were in.
That's awesome.
But I don't remember. I could not. Apparently, because I honestly don't remember. I was smoking a cigarette. I walked into the club with a cigarette because it's what I do when I drink, right?
Yeah.
I walked into a club with a cigarette, and they asked me to put the cigarette out.
Yeah.
And I had said, sure, no problem, and flicked the cigarette into the corner.
It's out now.
I was putting it out. I was putting it out. I was doing the right thing.
Really, you told me so. Out, but you were almost starting a fire because there was probably so much alcohol and piss on that floor from being the strip club that it was. That
they told me to put the cigarette out, Ray. They told me to put the cigarette out. That's what I was doing.
You just did what they said. I mean, fuck them. Fuck them if they can't take a joke, right?
I honestly don't remember anything from the strip club.
So you were too drunk to remember Bump trying to use the ATM then.
No, I don't remember any of that.
That one guy that we call Bump, that remember blood couldn't come, so he sent Bump to take his place because his wife's grandparents.
That's who's missing now, right?
Who?
Bump.
Yes, he's the one who's in Germany, like he's missing or whatever. And
what?
Yeah, like apparently, like he went to meet like some girl in Germany and he vanished, and we're like, yeah, he's dead. So
what was that movie where they cut people up in the room? Yeah,
Hostile.
He got hostile.
Yes, and so he's trying to use the and really, I'm not sure if you heard it or not. I'm sure people listening at home have probably heard the story before, but I'm going to tell you again because it's my show and I do whatever the fuck I want. But and he's trying to use the ATM, and he's putting his card in. Like he called the attention to everybody because he wanted to buy me a lap dance. So he's sitting there. Next thing you know, like 30 minutes has gone by of this guy trying to pull money out of the ATM. And finally, the money comes out, and everybody, the crew, the strippers, us, everybody's just like, yeah, as soon as the money comes out. And then he buys me a lap dance. I get the lap dance. The girl's giving me the lap dance. And Billy, before we went on the bachelor party, we were eating hot dogs, hamburgers, chicken, all this shit. So I feel all that here. Like it is already here. Like I went into the strip club half cocked with like throw up in my fucking system. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, she's giving me the lap dance. and I just feel it slowly rising up, and it's like going into my throat, and it just dawns on me. And I had an out of body experience, and I'm looking at myself. I'm like, I'm going to watch myself throw up on the stripper. This is what's going to happen. Like,
Do it.
And so fucking she sits there and she stops and she's like, was that good? Did you like that? And I just kind of like push her out of the way, and I run in the bathroom and I exorcist spew hot dog fucking chunks, like vomit everywhere, all over the bathroom. It was like Team America World Police when the one puppet's just fucking vomiting everywhere. And I remember the other guy, Mike, who walked in, he was the one who got us hooked up with the bus. And he looked around and he's like, holy shit, we need to get the fuck out of here. And they took us out front. The bus came back. Mike's passed out on the wall, like laying on the wall. Yeah. You're passed out, like laying on the wall. Sally Joe comes to get you. And fucking, I'm sitting there hunched against the wall like this, throwing up in a random black like bag that you put like a 40 in that I found on the side of the road. Because I need
the bag.
Like, why don't you just throw up on the ground? I'm like, no, I have a bag. I'm good. Like,
it's so like here's what I know, right? So we went to the Avenue, we went to Fridays, we went to Tilted Kill. There was another place in there
Della
that
Roses. Della Roses where we started.
Della Roses, right?
Yes.
We left from TGI Fridays.
Yeah.
On the bus. About halfway through the bus ride, I don't remember. I remember the next day texting Matt, like, why does my ass hurt so bad?
Oh no.
Like, yeah, like it was a real from the heart concern. Why does my ass hurt? So like apparently they have like a little half wall out front of McGoobies, not McDougal's, McGoobies. Yeah. And I fell backwards. Like I was standing there and fell backwards over the half wall onto my tailbone. Dude, for a month, my tailbone was killing me. And what hurt the worst is I couldn't remember. I'm like, why does my tailbone hurt so bad? Matt was there, Ray was there, Blood was there. It could be any fucking reason at this point.
Any one of these guys could have did this to me. Any
one
of
them stuffed in your ass. And now
I had Matt reassuring me that it was me falling over the wall. But back here, I'm like,
yeah, I got butt fucked at.
It could have been right. It could have been right.
The usual suspects. That's the thing. Like, who would have done this to me? Drunk.
Yeah, there's some Jonathan Davis looking motherfucker there. Like,
Socrates, shout out to Socrates.
Shout out to Socrates.
I mean, maybe he sat there going, you know what? I have a prostitute buried in my backyard. Now Mike's going to be buried in my backyard right next to this.
If it wasn't for my wife.
Yeah.
You got butt fucked.
He's not here. So, I like to transition relatively. So we're going to transition. We're going to go to Matt's bachelor party. And he's not here. So fuck him. He can't defend himself. But so his bachelor party, I remember I got us hooked up at Larry Flint's Hustler Club because I still had all my connections from when I did Happy Hour TV. So I got us all in. And we went there, and I remember they were doing some event, and there was like this girl that poured like candle wax on herself. There was like a showgirl, and there was a porn star that were all
and a midget.
Yeah, and a midget. They had a midget too, and we didn't know about the midget right away. Like we didn't see them. I guess maybe we were in very high parts of the bar where we couldn't see her just trot by because she was like there were things that were way higher than her. So there were times where it was kind of like Wilson from like Home Improvement. You just see her eyes looking over from something. But so we get there. I don't remember a lot from Matt either, but I do remember that there was a point where we were so excited because we were like, hey, what do you guys do, for bachelor parties? And they were like, well, we do this thing called the hot seat lap dance. And we're like, well, what the fuck is that? And I think it was you. I hear your voice going, well, what the fuck is that? And it's like, so they tell us, well, what happens is they put him on a chair in the middle of the club and all of the girls in the club give him a lap dance. And we're like, all right, sold. How much is it?
Done.
How much they said it was, but we all put in all the money.
It didn't matter at the time how much it was, Ray. I was paying for it.
Yeah. And that's the thing.
Or maybe paying for it. Go ahead with the story.
Yeah. And that's the thing. So we put all of our money in. We're like, all right, cool. We're going to do this. So as we're doing this, like we're doing this it's kind of like a drug deal on the side. Like Matt's like kind of off by himself, which we should have never did to begin with, because Matt's over there negotiating out with the porn chick a lap dance. So while we're arranging all this stuff here, he's just kind of like, yeah, whatever. I'll go do a lap dance. My buddies will pay for it.
No,
so
Ray, I said I would pay for that lap dance.
Oh. So he goes with
Dad, but it's my fault.
I didn't know that. That changes the whole spectrum on everything.
Oh yeah, dude. 100%. 100% I told him I'd pay for it.
So did you tell him you would pay for it before he like went to get it, or like before we found out about the hot seat or whatever?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So you were like, fuck it, I'll put my money in for the hot seat. And then he went in the room and he got the lap dance from the porn girl. And then so he sits there and he walks out and we see him walk out. And I forgot how it was presented to me, but I didn't even know he was in there. So he was in there and someone presented to me, Matt went in there for a lap dance. We just spent all of our money. What do we do? And I don't know if it was you who presented or whatever, like that like, I don't know if you want to take over that part of it, but it's kind of like a little there, not there.
100% it was me. I told them that we would absolutely pay for anything that he wanted. Like I would, fuck yeah, we had it. So I think we paid for this. What is he doing?
Who, me?
Yeah, is that medical?
This is what keeps you alive when you got brain cancer, bro.
Okay, this is what keeps you alive when you don't. Anyway, so
lucky you.
I told them like, we have the porn stars lap dance. Like that's on us. We got this. And then you're talking about
don't worry.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry. We have this. And then you're like, what about a hot seat? Fuck it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Got that too. We got that. And then all of a sudden everybody's like, well, we're out of money. Oh shit.
Yeah. We're like,
okay.
And I remember you looked me dead in the eyes. You're like, Ray, what do we do? And I'm just kind of like, all right, let's just go upstairs and just like fucking not be out here when he comes out.
Well, you had the connections, right? So it was your connections that got us there, that got us up in VIP, that got us the personal strippers that were in our group. Like it was you that did that. So I'm like, well, fuck, Ray, I'm ruining everything that you did for yourself, man. I ruined it.
Yeah.
Matt got a good lap dance out of it. So fuck it. Ray ruined his shit.
Yeah.
I ruined it for Ray.
Matt goes and gets it. And then he comes out and we're like, fuck it. So we go upstairs and hide. So we're hiding on the second floor and we're just kind of like looking down and we see Matt come out and he's with her and she's like looking around and like Matt has this like worried / panic look on his face. And apparently she looked at him and she's like, where's your friends? Because he said his friends would take care of it or whatever and all. And he's like, I don't know. And Matt Matt ended up paying for the lap dance. And I think he was mad, but he didn't tell us he was mad because he paid. But the hot seat lap dance made up for it because, afterwards we told him, we're like, dude, we're sorry, but we blew our load on the hot seat lap dance. And then we had nothing left afterwards. Like we couldn't regenerate enough, for both. And I think that like that porn star lap dance was like almost as much, if not more, than the hot seat.
Oh, I think it was more.
Yeah. And the hot seat thing, like they came out, all the strippers came up. And mind you, we didn't see the stripper all night because she was like running past things that were too high. So we didn't know she was there. So, Matt's sitting there. The girl goes up the pole. She vanishes. Like it's second floor. She goes up the pole. She's gone. Like we're like, did she fucking just leave out of like the fucking roof escape hatch or some shit like that? Like, she's like, I'm fucking out of here. And then Matt sees the midget and he makes eye contact with
Hold
her.
on,
We just
little
see him point his
person.
finger, and he's like, "Oh," and he's like, "Come on, come on." So
you
she
smoked
comes-
that bowl before you talk about little person.
that
Okay,
little,
Bill?
like,
I don't know what you're talking about.
awesome run they do, you
I
know,
am
knees to
taking
chest.
my medicines.
She's got those little like kid legs, so
Medicine.
chest. She runs up there, climbs up on Matt's lap, and I was never so proud because Matt got the truest form of a lap dance. She like
Dude, he
stood
was
on
so
his lap,
excited.
and she
He was
danced.
so excited.
Yeah, and so she tried to put her leg over his shoulder, like, you know, grind in his face, but her little leg was too short. She ended up just kneeing him in the side of the face.
And let's face it, Matt is not a big guy.
Yeah,
I mean, he's barely over dwarf.
Was
Like,
she like
he's a
Vern
short
Troyer
guy.
size? Was she like? Tell me she was like Vern Troyer size. Like,
oh, she was small.
Oh yeah,
she was. Was
Yeah.
it like? That's awesome.
dude, all of 3 foot tall.
Yeah, dude, there are some toilets in that place that were probably taller than her.
Yeah.
So
That's fucking awful.
So I used
It's
to have the
awesome.
voice. I used to have the voicemail. He called me after his bachelor party, right? Drunk as hell. I think driving home with you and Jess.
yeah,
And he calls me and he left me this really long voicemail. And it was what he would do if he was like a booker at a strip club. And it was all about midget strippers.
I don't
And
remember.
he went on for hours, like an hour on my voicemail about, bro, I would.
he was with us.
Yes.
Oh man, and that's the thing. Jess was probably the only sober one. Like, I was so trash. Like, I remember that, but that was because remember they were on his wife's bachelor rep party the same night.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Because theirs got off to a great start because somebody was in a wheelchair like the first like hour into theirs, and the guy who drove us.
Yes, they were. I remember because our designated driver had to leave.
So he had to leave. He had to leave, pick her up, take her home, and then come back.
Yep.
So, oh man.
Hey guys, I hope you don't mind if I'm rolling around with you in my wheelchair in this party. I'd be like, sorry, we changed the dates. It's sorry.
So I didn't give the Billy Bob explicit, before he joined. Yeah, I did that at his wedding. I've done that at every group for him except for this one. So Billy doesn't give a shit about nobody.
Yeah. Oh, whoa! Not that serious. I've been after this happened. It made me a little happier, nicer. See, it took almost lobotomy to fix me.
You are happier and nicer, but you don't give a shit about anybody, except for your little family. Maybe us in this group chat.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck feelings.
There's no filter. There's no filter with Billy. There's never pre shit in
Hold
your
on. Let me justify myself.
Okay.
Why should I? Because in the end, it doesn't matter what other people think about me. Because a lot of people you meet, you're probably never going to fucking see again.
Yeah.
And then all you have is your little fucking tree of people. And they know who the fuck you are anyways.
Yeah. And I mean,
so why the fuck should I care about
by
anybody
the
else?
same route? That's the thing. So,
I mean, if you're on the side of the road fucking dying and I'm there, I'll fucking help you.
Yeah.
But if I call you a pussy while I'm doing it, like
if you're dying on the side of the road and all of a sudden Billy gives you a mouth hug, that's just, he's just kind of like, oh, this is my chance. I've always wanted to give him.
At his wedding, I called him the fat, sweaty, awkward guy. Like that's how I talked about him as his best man in his wedding.
And
that is
word. Yeah, I am that fat, awkward, sweaty fucker. Yeah.
Well, I remember one of the first times I met Billy. I forgot where we were, but I think it was like me, you, Matt, Jess, all of our wives and all that. We were all together, and it was one of the first times I met Billy. And we were at, I forgot, it was someplace we were eating at, and we all got beer, and they asked Billy for his ID. So Billy took his ID, and I remember that. And he stuck it in his tape measure, and he extends like we're looking at him for like 2 minutes, extending this fucking tape measure, and the waitress didn't know what was going on. And she turns around, and the tape measure is like, it's like you turn around and you're like, your stalker's there. It's like you turn around and the tape measure is there. And like it startled her. And then when he went to pay his bill, he did it again and fucking put like the card on there. And he was like, let me try all the others. So he tried to put all the cards in like a peacock tail on the fucking tape measure to fucking pay like the check.
Dude, he's the most awkward person I've ever met in my life. Billy Bob is awesome, but he is the most, anytime you take him out anywhere, he's going to embarrass you. Like, that's what's going to happen.
I am that guy, and I'm proud, I will say. I am that guy, but I'm also not that guy that like fucks it up for everybody.
No, dude, you're and honestly, since you're the shit with your head, you are a completely different person. You love everyone, which is awesome about you. But before that, bro,
thank you. I'd like to thank my doctors and everything. And all the medicines they give me, and I
don't quite know what the rules are with YouTube and drugs, but I think
we may have just
fine.
We're skating that. We're skating that
we're
right
skating
now.
that. However, if they give me a hard time, I'll have Billy send them his card. Be like, look, fuckers. I
have my card, and I'm a cancer patient, so fuck you. And that's
I think we're good because I think YouTube is a little bit more lax. But if this was fucking Lizard Book, then they'd be pulling the feed right now. They'd be like, not in the metaverse. This shit ain't happening in the fucking metaverse.
I watched a guy on YouTube the other day eat 8 grams of fucking psilocybin mushrooms.
Oh, well, yeah, then we're definitely good.
And like he recorded his fucking trip, and then when it got too intense, he was like, I'll be back. Okay. Word, bro.
So Ray, I have a question, right?
Okay.
So speaking of Facebook and YouTube and their rules, have you had any like pre-shows that you have not been able to air? Like, you had Kimber Haven, which I thought for sure I'd see a man titty. Like, I was watching it on YouTube and I'm like, I'm gonna see a man titty.
We have to be careful.
I may still have the footage, but she did pull out a man titty. You're gonna ask? She did. Yes, she did. It was before we went live. Because she was busting her balls. She's like, look, I'm just like anybody else. And she was like, boop. And me and Matt were just going, well, there it is. And like, I remember when it was done, Matt kind of tapped me and Matt was like, that was a really nice titty. I was just kind of like, I mean, it was, but I mean,
he's a titty, bro.
Yeah.
He's got a dick. He's got a dick, but he had a titty and you liked it.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing. It's like, so at that point, like the thought goes through your mind of, well, if she's standing here, but she has her tits out, but she has her pants off, like where does your mind go? Like, does your mind go there? Or does your mind
There's a dick. There's a dick.
There's a dick. It's gonna twist and explode. Like your head just literally blows up because it doesn't know what it wants to do. Look at the tits or look at the dick. And I mean, that's just
I was really curious about that, man, because you've had some really cool people.
Yeah.
Some beautiful porn stars on, right? So I always, I do my research on the porn stars that you have on.
Oh, trust me,
it's for research purposes only. Research purposes.
I'm just watching. I'm observing.
Yeah, that's right. You had Kimber Haven, and I'm like, I know he showed you his man titty. You had to.
Well, it's funny because I think most of them know that we're on live. They know we're on Facebook Live. They know we're on YouTube Live. So, and I mean, stuff happens on like live stuff. And the cool thing is with YouTube is that when it's done, it asks me if I want to edit it. So there's actually a YouTube studio. I haven't used it. So if something goes south during like a YouTube thing, I can just hit pause auto upload because it automatically uploads to the servers. I can just pause that and then go through, find that part, cut, boom, and then, upload it from there. So
well, that's very convenient. You're gonna have to do some editing tonight.
I mean, when you have people like Kimber Haven on, I knew at that point, like there had to be content that you couldn't share.
Oh, like, what the fuck? What was it? What was the site? It's kind of like YouTube, but it's not. And I remember
It's Pornhub.
Pornhub.
No, it wasn't Pornhub. I uploaded it on that because it allowed, like, it didn't have like any rules and stuff like that. I forgot what the fuck it was called though. It might have been Vimeo or something like that. I think it was Vimeo. I uploaded it on. So I would look on that. If not, I'll look in my archives. I probably have that full, because I cut that up in the.
I'm not saying I want to see his man tits. I was bringing up other people also.
Well, guess what? Like now when this is done, you're gonna get a text
some man titties,
and it's gonna be a screen cap of that.
I want to see some man titties. I ain't scared of man titties. I mean, let's be for real. I got a weird wife, so I see weird shit on the TV. I'm kind of used to it at this point. Plus, I was in the military, so like I've seen enough dicks. So like whatever.
And I think what it's going to be for the most part, it's probably going to be the three of us tonight. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to get into our featured beer.
Which you're going to the game.
You guys know the featured beer. We've all had many of nights with this, and that is the one and only Bud Light. So shout out to Bud Light for the amazing beer that has given us so many long nights and bad memories and good memories with all that.
So I shout out to O'Fallon Smoke Porter.
Oh man,
right? I don't know if you can see it. You see the O?
Lift it up a little bit. Oh yeah. It's like the Orioles O or whatever.
So I was looking for beer for tonight. Right. Yeah. I love, as much as I hate, I love Baltimore. I saw the O and I'm like, man, this sounds good. So it's a smoke porter. It is probably the best beer I've had out here in Missouri.
Really? Nice.
Yeah, and it had the O for the O's. So fuck anybody who gets mad during the national anthem.
Yeah.
Baltimore representing.
I don't know anything about the Orioles. I mean, as I sit here right now, I don't think there's anything about me that can show what's going on about me with the Orioles or what. And Billy's gone again. I don't know what happened. Like,
are you surprised?
And he's back in the room again. So I don't know what happened. Maybe his internet dropped, but and of course I forgot to put this in the freezer. So it's a little cold because I put it in my bag. But Mike, have you had any of this?
I haven't yet. I've been looking for it out here. There's a place in Springfield, Missouri that I've been told has it. I gotta go get a bottle.
Oh, dude, you have to. It's so good. Shout out to Metallica and their blackened whiskey. Thank you to Sherry Nelson for sending us this. We told her that we didn't have it. And of course, Mike, with the Jaeger, shout out to Jaeger. We've had them on the show before as a feature. So make sure you go out and pick up Metallica's Black album, blackened whiskey, go out, get it. They have a couple of different kinds out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour myself some of this now. If I can locate where my shot glass is, which I do not know where it's at.
Just drink it. You're by yourself. You've got 3 COVID shots, man. Just drink it.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. The cork is now stuck in the bottle. There we go. This bottle got fucked up during transport, and it hasn't been right ever since.
We're going to go into your fucking games, and nobody else is in the room, and I'm going to be really fucking mad because I am horrible at all of the games that you fucking play.
And what we'll do is we'll wait for Billy to come back, and we'll do the games. I know Billy was, trying to take his medical marijuana, and then his screen went dark. So, the guy with one leg with his buddies in a UFO spaceship might have showed up and went, all right, Billy, come on, hop on. We're going to fucking, whatever. And it's weird. I'm not sure if you can hear it or not. And I'm not sure if anybody listening at home can hear it. But for some reason, the last couple of episodes, ever since winter has rolled in, like when I'm in my basement, because it's colder in my basement, my nose just decides it just wants to fucking faucet run.
So everyone in my house had RSV, which is not COVID.
Yeah.
But everyone had RSV.
Are you sure it's not COVID?
I'm sure. We all got fucking tested. So I was the last one that I'm like, I beat it. And then I got fucking sick. And I've had the nasal, the cough since. So
but I mean, I don't know, dude. It's weird. Like, I have a pretty good immune system. Like, Jess gets sick very easy, and she'll get sick, and then like I'll end up never getting sick. So, you know, and we're gonna have to bust Matt's balls like hardcore when we see him.
So all right. So I'm gonna tell the fucking story since he's not here. So I was in a really bad place. I had broke up with an ex and I was drinking all the fucking time. So him and my buddy come over and we were just hammering beers out front. So some kids walk by, they're like 16, 17. I'm giving them fucking beers. Did you know how I am when I'm drunk, right?
Yeah.
It's like everybody come party with Mike, right?
You want to share the wealth.
Yeah, absolutely. So I start giving beers out. We go down to the bar, we come back. So I think he did hit on this a little bit with his what the fuck is that the gas station called back east. Anyway, so him and Sean leave, right? They go to the gas station and they get all of this food, right? They all come back and those two are at my house. They're eating this food. Well, someone decides to set the alarm on my house. And the one rule I had on my house.
Wait. Like set the alarm off or?
Yeah. Well, hold on, Ray. So the one rule I had at my house in Dundalk was don't touch the alarm system because I get charged after a certain amount of false alarms. So that was my only fucking rule. I'm like, I don't give a shit what you guys do. Don't touch the fucking alarm. So I wake up and there's 3 cops standing at the foot of my bed.
Oh no.
And they're like, do you know these guys? And of course I'm drunk. I'm stoned. And I go,
why does my ass hurt?
If I tell you no, are you going to lock them up? And I'm laughing. The cops are not laughing. They didn't find it funny at all. And they're like, yeah, if you tell us you don't know them, we are taking them to jail. Yes, I know these assholes.
I don't know. One of those motherfuckers beat their ass. They're trying to kill me.
Yeah. So they end up telling me, I don't know, something about the alarm system. So everybody leaves. And I remember like starting to sober up because of course there's cops surrounding me at this point. And they're like, I said to Sean and Matt, I'm like, what the fuck did you guys do?
Yeah.
Well, we went to the farm store. It wasn't the farm store. What's the other?
Wawa.
We went to Wawa's in Essex and we got food. And I'm like, wait, you know, there's one in Dundalk. Like there's one 5 seconds from the fucking house you can go walk to.
Yeah.
Sean's like, no, I was fucking hammered. I drove to Essex. Okay, assholes. So what else happened? So they came back to the house. They were done drinking for the night, drinking outside. So they decided to set the alarm. Well, they wanted to shield the house.
Oh.
So they pressed the shield button. The shield button calls the fucking police. It doesn't shield the house.
So did they think that like they would hit the shield button and like this portal? Like,
Dude, I don't know. That's what I said to them.
Come over the house.
After the cops left, I went, what the fuck did you think would happen if you press the fire button, you assholes? The house would catch on fire? Yes. Like, what was your thought behind this? But yes, Matt thought if he pressed the shield button, it would protect the house. So Sean is dying laughing. And he said, as he's pressing the shield button, the alarm's going off. And Matt is sitting on the other side of the alarm going, trying to fucking blow my alarm. Like,
what's that gonna do? Like,
I said to him, I'm like, bro, are you trying to tell it had a good time? Yeah. Or are you trying to blow it out like a fucking candle? What are you doing, man?
Maybe he thought he hit the fire button, so he's trying to put the fire out. Like, just imagine it. Like, they hit the fire button and they don't know what to do. Like, they're looking around, whatever, and then they just go into your room and you're on fire. Like, that's just, they hit the button and they're just kind of like, oh no, we hit this button and it fucking, Mike just, poof, just right up in fucking flames. Like, just.
So we're going over all this shit, right? I'm super fucking mad at them because I'm at that limit of false alarms where I'm going to start getting charged. because my friends are assholes. And I look around, dude, and there's this food everywhere in my house. It's all from Wawa's. And I'm like, who bought all this shit? And both of them at the same time point at each other. Right? I'm like, wait, so did Sean pay for it or did Matt? Who fucking paid for all this food? There's pizzas, there's subs. There's definitely soft pretzels because I took one and back to bed with me.
Oh, dude, Wawa soft pretzels are the fucking best. I will knife fight anybody.
Dude, I can tell you from being in the Midwest, I miss Wawa's and I miss Royal Farms.
Oh,
dude, they talk about Casey's out here. There's a Casey's general store and they do pizza. No, dude, it's garbage. It's garbage. It is not fucking Rofo. Yeah. It is not the farm store. They look at me like I'm crazy when I say the farm store. So anyway, so I'm grabbing all of this food and I'm like, fuck you guys. I'm so drunk. Fuck you. I'm taking this to bed with me. I don't care who bought it. And they're pointing at each other. So I eat the soft pretzels, right? I go to bed. I wake up in the morning and I'm like, so who went to Wawa's? And they're like, well, we did. Okay. Who bought the food? Because you guys seem really like pointy fingers that neither one of you bought the food. And Matt goes, well, Sean did. And at the same time, Sean goes, well, Matt did. And I'm like, which one of you drunk fucks bought the food? And neither one of them bought the fucking food. Yeah. Which is why the cops actually followed them to my house, because they ordered all of this food and then drunken drove that shit all the way back to fucking Dundalk from Essex when there's a fucking Wawa's 2 seconds down the street.
That reminds me of a time where we bought everything in the 7-Eleven hot thing. And we've done it twice. We did it at Royal Farms that we went in there. We want everything in your like Hot Wheel. And we would go home and pass out and we would wake up in bed and there would be food all over the bed because we would just get the food and then pass out there. And I remember I asked you guys, and of course, Billy is back in like Weed World somewhere. I don't know. Like he's like off in like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory right now mentally. So I remember I posed a question online. And I asked people, I was like, hey, have you ever been involved with, had anybody do to you, or have you ever done anything to a friend's car or somebody's car to where it's just kind of like, oh, you know what the fuck? Because me and Dave's brother, Chris, and our one friend, Bobby, we had what we deemed as car wars. And we would drive down the road and Chris and Bobby would keep fucking rolls of quarters in their cars and they would cut each other off. And as soon as one would cut each other off on the highway, they'd take fucking a handful of quarters and throw them out and fucking hit the other's fucking car with the fucking, quarters and shit. Like they've thrown bolts at each other's cars. We used to get those bingo markers and write shit on the back windshields with the bingo markers. There was one time Dave got pissed at Bobby around Christmas time. So he gift wrapped Bobby's car and then sprayed the windshield with a hose. And it froze over overnight. So he had to not only get the fucking wrapping paper off, but he had to break the ice to get the wrapping paper off. There was a time
like where we grew up.
Yeah.
Dude, we were so fucking poor. We wouldn't do shit to each other's car.
Yeah.
Honestly. Like that's the way it was, bro. Like I was one of the first people in our group to have a car. And Ooh. I would have been, dude, my little Pontiac Fiero, I'd have been pissed.
Yeah, well, it's funny because our friend Chris, there was one time we went and Bobby still had a key to his house. Bobby lived with him and then he moved in with me. He still had a key to his house. So we went to his house and we stole his car and we parked it like blocks over. And then what we did is we took some glass. Like we found like some glass, like windshield glass. We put it on the ground next to where his car was parked. And then we put his keys back in his house and we left. And he called us. He's like, I'm asking you a serious fucking question now. Did you motherfuckers do anything to my car? We're like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Get my phone to stand up.
My car, it's fucking gone. There's glass on the ground. Did you fuckers do anything to it? Because I'm getting ready to call the police. I'm sitting there looking at Bobby, and Bobby's like this. He's like, don't say shit. I'm like, all right. So whatever. He's like, the fucking cops come to my house. I find out you did something. I'm sending them your fucking way. So as Bobby's telling me, no, I'm sitting there texting him like the car's up the fucking around the corner or whatever and all that. Cause I didn't want to fucking get involved with the police being sent to my house. And then right before Chris sold his car, Chris and Bobby both had orange 2003 Chevy Cavaliers, exact same fuking car.
You're one of those guys.
Chris was getting ready to sell his car. And Bobby thought of this idea of let's switch cars. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I want to take everything out of his car, put it in my car, and put everything in my car in his car. And then I drive it. And I want him to take his car, drive my car to the dealership so he can try to trade in the car. And then he finds out when they look up the VIN number, that's not the right car. And I'm like, Bobby, that is not a good idea because they're going to look up the VIN number and see that it's registered to you. And then they're going to fucking arrest him at the car dealership for trying to sell a stolen fucking car or whatever. And, you know, it never can. He was hell bent on doing it. I was like, dude.
No wonder Dave never hung out with you guys.
Yeah. And it's like,
trouble.
That was a horrible idea.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Like, dude, like, so have you guys like ever taken part in anything? Because we had a couple. There was one Ray Howard on Facebook. He said that they took pallet wrap and sealed off a coworker's car, and they would use the entire roll, and not even a straight razor could cut through. He left the car there 3 days before they finally helped him.
So we used to do fireworks wars.
Okay.
Where we would go. I would go because the rest of these fuckers didn't drive. I would go to Pennsylvania, buy fireworks, and we would set them off and shoot them at each other.
Yeah, that was some rough times there.
Yeah.
That shit was stupid. I'm trying to fix my goddamn camera. My phone's back on.
There were many a times where we would put candles out of windows to break up the party because we would be like, all right, we're tired, we're drunk, we're going to bed. And everybody was still being loud and obnoxious out back. So we would just open up the back window and we would just fire a Roman candle down onto, you know, the civilians. And then once they fled out of the yard, we'd be like, all right, it's time to fucking go to bed. And real quick, there was another comment from a good friend, comedian Tommy Simbazo. He said that he was working as a land surveyor, and one time in the dead of hot ass summer, they had a new guy start, and he jokingly threw fried rice on his work truck. He's like, so I wore the same pair of thick socks for a week until they were ripe, rolled them up and hid them in the springs under his driver's seat of his truck. For the life of him, he could not find where the smell was coming from. God. And the choices were windows up with AC and funk, or windows down, no AC and less funk.
That's awful.
Yeah, I mean, we honestly never fucked with each other's cars. Like as crazy as we were with each other, I think we knew, like, you know, the car was something that we all worked towards. You know, Billy with that shitty S10, me with a Pontiac fucking Viero. It's everything we worked hard for. We never fucked with each other with that.
Oh, dude,
yeah, I was rocking my dad's Dodge, that piece of shit blue truck.
So your dad fucked me over more than once. He used to go to senior week all the fucking time, and he would legit tell women that his name was mine, and would fuck them as the older man.
Yeah.
So wait.
Yes, my dad would say his name was Mike.
So really, he was fucking them through you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Like I needed any more notches in my bedpost. That dude was going around telling everybody he was Mike fucking Messick, and that's what he was doing.
That's fucking great.
Yeah, he was going down during senior week and was like hanging out, and the girls would be like, "Hey, can you buy us beer?" And he'd be like, "Yeah, hell yeah."
There was a time when I worked at the bowling alley. This was long before I knew any of you guys or knew Jess. There were a couple of kids that were going to senior week, and they were like, "Well, Ray, can you go with us? You know, here, you don't need to pay anything for the hotel or anything like that. Just come with us." I'm like, whatever, I can do that. So, I'm like, hey, I'm going to go out, blah, blah. I'm drinking at the bar. I meet this chick at the bar, and the chick's like, look, it's starting to get dark. Let's go to the beach. I'll blow you on the beach. So I'm like, all right, this works for me. So we go to the fucking beach, and we're getting ready to fucking do the deed. And the next thing I know, these fucking 18-year-olds are walking down the boardwalk, yelling my name
working on the pop
because they needed beer. And I'm like, what the fuck? So they show up and they literally sit down, one here, one next to the chick, and they're like, hey man, what's up? What are you doing? And I'm just kind of like, dirty fucking cocksuckers. I'm like, what do you want? They're like, we're out of beer. And I'm just kind of like, fuck, I can't tell them no, because they let me stay in their place for free to buy them beer. So I just kind of look at the chick and I'm just kind of like, I gotta roll. Like, it was just kind of like, Sopranos walk up and they put her arm on my shoulder. Yeah, you need to get up and go get us, the drugs or whatever.
We need you.
So what I'm gonna do is, now since Billy's back,
we're
gonna get into Ode to Humanity. So Billy's seen the show, Mike, you've seen the show. You guys know what this is about. So
unfortunately, Ray, I do.
We're going to start off with name 3. So name 3 is name 3 places where you would not want to spend Thanksgiving.
3 places I would not want to spend Thanksgiving.
Yes.
I don't know.
So I mean, I'll go.
My parents' house.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go in jail.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is fucking tough.
Because it's
at the bar or alone. There's my 3.
Okay. Mine are in the back of a trunk in the middle of a live kidnapping. I would not want to be in the back of a trunk on Thanksgiving while being kidnapped. I would not want to spend Thanksgiving in the woods in a tent with possible bears being around. That's not, I don't really particularly care for bears. I don't want to,
especially if there's banjos,
Thanksgiving dinner. And I would not want to spend Thanksgiving in a convenience store. Like, for some reason, whenever I go someplace on Thanksgiving, I don't like to go into a convenience store for some reason. Like, it's
saying you don't know how much you miss Rofo until you move out of Baltimore.
Did you hear?
I go to Rofo for Thanksgiving. I mean, that wouldn't be so bad.
Yeah, Popeyes is doing a turkey. Like, how they have like the herbs and spices? Apparently, they're deep frying a turkey with like those herbs and spices on a turkey.
That's probably good as shit.
And I'm like, that sounds amazing. But knowing some of the idiotic employees that they have, that could probably easily turn into a disaster. Like, you're eating bark and not turkey. Like,
I definitely miss Royal Farms though, man. Like, I never thought that would be one of the things that I miss. But dude, Royal Farms, it was the pinnacle of Baltimore. Yeah, I didn't know it until I moved out.
Dude, we're getting them out here. It's awesome.
Oh, yeah, they're moving out that way. And for anybody listening or watching at home, make sure you stop in Royal Farms. If you ever see Royal Farms, stop in Royal Farms, get some of their chicken, the world famous Royal Farms chicken. It's 100. And now what we're going to do is, for name 3, there's a second category.
God damn it.
3 ways to execute somebody without the use of traditional weapons.
Oh, dude, don't even start. Oh my God. How many do you want?
He said 3.
Yeah, but if you want to name more,
you can make 6 and count me in it.
Yeah.
3 ways to torture somebody. Cut their eyelids off, feed them a shitload of Ambien, and put them in a bright room. There's 1.
That's only 1?
Oh my God, dude. I think about this kind of shit sometimes. Put them in a cement mixer full of glass.
Oh,
Like a big truck.
Hey, could you imagine that when it hardens up, the glass is just gonna be like it's gonna be like the Iron Maiden.
No, like broken. I'm saying glass, like broken bottles. So it's just gonna tumble around inside a big truck cement mixer. Put them in a room with some hungry dogs and cut their stomach a little bit and stuff like fucking lunch meat in there. There's 3.
That's enough for my 3.
Yeah, I think like, and one of the things, like, I was just sitting there thinking to myself, looking behind Billy, I'm like, you just beat somebody to death with a cat scratching post or something like that, or like a cat house. But after the ones Billy said, I'm just kind of like, I can't process anything else.
Dude, I cannot wait for like the apocalypse. I hope I make it to it.
Yeah. And after name 3, of course, is what do you meme? So what I'm going to do is this card right here. We're all going to meme this card. So for everybody listening at home, it's just a chick with her hand up on her face and she's crying. So Mike, upon looking at this card, what would you think would meme this card?
It was way too big for my asshole.
No. Fuck, I just fucked my brother.
And when I look at this, I think of what we were talking about earlier, when Billy realizes that he knows what it's like to be a dick going inside of an asshole when he's inside of an MRI machine. Like, I mean, really, you kind of became what it was like for a dick to penetrate a small butthole. That's
where I was going.
Now, yeah, you got the
She's
first.
Definitely crying because somebody stuffed it in her asshole.
Now I know how it feels. Katie, I'm sorry.
From that, we're going to incoherent.
Fuck me.
So incoherent. So this is the first one. Can both of you guys see that okay?
Yeah.
And you can work together if you want to. And there's 2.
This drug all is real. This drug all is real. Drug all. This drug all. This drug hall? No.
It's definitely this drug. That's fucking spelled out completely.
This drug is real.
The second part. What did you say?
The struggle is real.
Yes, it is. The struggle is real, which hints were first world problems and a phrase used by people who have never experienced any real difficulties.
I didn't get it.
You know how hard it is for me to look at these while I'm fucking driving to work in the morning? I'm like, got my phone in front of my fucking face. Like, Ray, I'm going to crash my fucking car. Can't figure this out.
I didn't figure it out. My wife did. She's over
there. And then there's this one right here.
Veer off messing out.
Veer off messing out. Veer off messing no. Veer off messing out.
Is that what you did when you veered off the road when you were having your seizure?
I was parked. Thank you.
Okay.
One of the hints is social anxiety. And right now, Matt could be experiencing this.
Veer off messing out, Katie. Veer off messing out. He's missing out.
What's up?
He's missing out.
Missing out is the second part. Fear of missing out. Yes. The second part, the second hint was when you're dead set on binging the rest of the season and you get the text, you coming tonight? So
fear of missing out.
Yes. Fear of missing out. And then the third one is this. What would you say that is?
Hide, sprint, heat, itch. Hide, sprint.
One of the hints is, oops, I did it again.
I fucking love me some Brittany.
Proper etiquette for announcing your presence. What's up?
It's Brittany, bitch.
Yes, it's Brittany, bitch. And you know what's funny? Now that she's off of that conservatorship, I hope we get a Britney Spears sex tape because I was
it'd be awesome.
A boner for Britney Spears when I was in high school. That like like I would just
everyone of our age had a fucking boner for Britney Spears.
And then, of course, Ode to Humanity, Cards Against Humanity. We all know that. And the very special way, the Justin Schlegel way that we now play the game is
Billy isn't going to want to do it the Justin Schlegel way.
Well, we're going to do it the Justin Schlegel way because there's a lot of cards that are associated with these. And I like the whole thing of you randomly drawing a card of what it could be. So the first one, let me make sure that there's a lot of cards here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So the first one is I'm pretty sure I'm high right now because I'm absolutely memorized by blank. And then you guys have the options of between 1 and 6 that will randomly answer that card with one rebuttal.
Yeah, Billy.
I have an option of 1 and 6. 1 through 6.
Yep.
4.
4. All right. So we're going to go with 4. So I'm pretty sure I'm high right now because I'm absolutely memorized by wearing underwear inside out to avoid doing laundry.
Yes.
Let's go 3. Let's rebuttal with 3.
3. All right. So 3. All right. So this is the one that's going to answer it. I'm pretty sure I'm high right now because I'm absolutely memorized by dining with cardboard cutouts of the cast of Friends. So that's going to be, and the other options that you could have had was an ether-soaked rag, Ryan Gosling riding in on a white horse, a mouthful of potato salad, and a cooler full of organs. So those were some of the other options that could have came through that. Now, here's the next one. The next one is, all right, bros, our frat house is condemned and all the hot slam pieces are over at Gamma Phi. The time has come to commence Operation Blank. So 1 through 6.
Let's go 2. Let's go 2.
2. All right. So, all right, bros. Our frat house is condemned and all the hot slam pieces are over at Gamma Phi. The time has come to commence Operation Hospice Care. So, are you satisfied with that, or do you want to rebuttal
that? You said 6?
He said 2.
I said 2. Oh. Yeah, Bill.
I'm going to go 4.
4. All right, so 4. All right, so this, I find that probably a little bit better than that. All right, bros. Our frat house is condemned, and all the hot slam pieces are over at Gamma Phi. The time has come to commence Operation Too Much Cocaine. So,
yeah.
And then the other options for those cards was a spontaneous conga line, man meat, drinking responsibly, and no clothes on, penis in vagina, which probably would have been the best card. And since this is an extended episode and we're all cool, we're going to do a third one. So this one is the CIA now interrogates enemy agents by repeatedly subjecting them to blank. Same amount of cards. You have 6. And whoever wants to draw the first card, let it rip.
Yeah, Billy Bob.
3.
3. All right. So we're going to go with 3. That one up. Pick up 6. All right. So here's 3. So the CIA now interrogates enemy agents by repeatedly subjecting them to 24-hour media coverage. So I'm guessing you're going to want to rebuttal that card. So what number are we going to go with?
Let's go with 5.
5. All right. So 5. The CIA now interrogates enemy agents by repeatedly subjecting them to the Boy Scouts of America.
What's happening with the Boy Scouts of America? And did they get like the Boy Scouts fuck him or something? Is it like an Epstein guy?
Yeah. We're just gonna drop these Boy Scouts here. Do what you wish.
Do what you want with him or against him to him.
And some of the other options were getting naked and watching Nickelodeon, Natalie Portman, a bleached asshole, and being paralyzed from the neck down.
So all of which applicable to Billy Bob.
That would be shitty. All of them would be shitty. Well, Nickelodeon wouldn't be so bad if it's like a marathon of Ninja Turtles or something.
Yeah, or like really high like SpongeBob. Like SpongeBob, but not only are you high, but SpongeBob is also super fucking stupid high. So
that would be interesting.
And what was that?
That would be interesting.
Yes.
Fun fact: me and my wife used to use like code word SpongeBob to go be able to like, hey, do you want to go fuck? It was yeah, we're gonna go watch SpongeBob, Graham, and you go in my room and fuck.
So I think I'm gonna name this episode code word SpongeBob. That way.
That, and then we would also go get ice cream.
SpongeBob episode 76. SpongeBob goes to get ice cream.
There you go.
But now what we're gonna do is probably in about like 15 minutes or so, we'll probably wrap the extended Friendsgiving episode. Unfortunately, Steve and Matt were not able to join us. I have no idea what's going on with Matt. We have not heard from Matt. Matt may very well be getting fucked in the ass by a Sasquatch right now in the middle of the woods. I have absolutely no idea what's going on with that. But of course, anybody watching this, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you go over to HHPod.com, pick up some merchandise from the store. And I think Billy just saw another UFO because he was looking out of the window.
Yeah, man. It was a big fucker too. Real big one.
So now in closing, now we got probably about like another 15 minutes or so. Are there any thoughts that you guys had? Now, Mike, I know you said you were writing down like a few notes or whatever and all that. Is there anything in closing as we start to head into the closing moments of the show that you will want to talk about that we have not brought up?
So we kind of brought up the destroy everything party. I was really hoping Matt was on.
Keep in mind, we can do this whenever we want.
House?
Yes.
So my parents had bought the house next door to me, with my brother, and they decided they were going to tear down the house before building a new house. So we had a huge fucking party at this house.
Huge, like Donald Trump. Huge.
It was Donald Trump. It was huge. It was huge. Let me tell you about it. It was all huge.
Ask your friends. It was fucking huge.
Yeah. So we were gonna tear down this house, build a new one. So I was like, well, this is fucking perfect for me. Because my friends are assholes. They love to destroy everything, right? So good old hate breed. We're gonna have a destroy everything party.
Oh God.
So I the only thing I really remember from this party is my brother molesting a brain mold of Jello.
Wait, a what?
It was it was a Halloween-ish party.
Okay.
Somebody had made a mold of a brain.
Okay.
Out of Jello, and he molested it, for better words, in front of all of the people that I worked with. And then I remember Funky Matt falling through the roof.
Yes.
The ceiling.
Do you remember the girl that she refused to fucking speak English, and she was walking around speaking fucking German?
No.
Yeah, I think. Do you remember Justin? I think it was one of the people Justin brought.
No.
Did she know English and she just refused to speak?
She knew English, but she refused to fucking speak it. She spoke in German. And
you guys are fucking up a house. Like, why would she want to associate with that? Like, she
literally destroyed this house so bad. I remember asking for a beer and someone coming through the wall, and they're like, hey, here's a beer.
Like,
and I'm like,
man,
it was like the fucking Kool-Aid dude. Like,
we picked up my brother and threw him through a fucking wall.
Yeah, we threw. No, wait a minute. We threw your cousin Matt through a ceiling. Let me rephrase that. He threw himself through the fucking ceiling.
Yes.
Didn't he say like he fell through the ceiling and there was like a chick like Like he landed in the bathtub and there was like a chick in the bathroom or something like that. He's just like,
we put him through the wall by the bathroom.
It was the most insane party that I've ever had. It was definitely thrown by me, so I throw that out there because I'm proud of it. But it was because we could destroy everything in the house. The house was going to be torn down, so everybody just destroyed everything that they could. Like,
well, your parents were like,
beer,
leave the cabinet.
And a beer would come through the fucking wall. It was the craziest thing I've ever been involved with.
Now, here's the thing. Did you tell your parents about it, or did you guys just have the party and destroy the house? And they just
knew.
What the fuck?
I think they knew, didn't they?
They knew,
but they didn't
know how bad it was going to get. We definitely ran over my neighbor's foot twice.
How did you run over their foot?
They were out there trying to direct traffic for a bunch of drunken assholes, and we ran over their foot twice.
One of the girls got her fucking blazer stuck in the ditch too.
That's when they ran over the neighbor's foot.
Like, she was in the ditch, so my brother went and got his blazer and pulled her out. We pulled her out with a coat hanger.
So pretty much you gave her a coat hanger abortion to get her out of a ditch.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Ray.
Like tied it up. I don't even know how it worked, but it was like a coat hanger or two coat hangers or something. And we yanked her car out of the ditch with it. It was funny. We were on the roof a lot too.
We were.
Because I remember jumping off the roof into my truck. So,
as I said, that's one of those things that I'm glad that our groups never kind of ran into each other, over time, because like something like that, I would have been totally down for that. Like me being the wrestler, I would have people giving me like belly to belly suplexes through fucking walls into another room. Like that's the way it would be. I'd be like, hey guys, whatever, let's do this. Fucking, you remember when fucking Kurt Angle tried to suplex Shane McMahon through the fucking glass? Let's do that, but with this fucking, wall.
Dude, it honestly, Ray, it was that bad. So I'm glad you weren't there because it was legit. We were doing that shit, man. Like let's hop on my dad's garden tractor, since I live out here in Missouri now. It was a garden tractor. Let's ride to the farm store. Like that's what we did, man.
What's a garden tractor? Like I know what a tractor,
like a lawnmower.
Garden tractor.
So to us Missouri folk, since I fucking live here now, like I reside here. I do not come from Baltimore. A garden tractor is a tractor that we used back in Baltimore. It is just to cut the grass. That's it.
One of those like little green like John Deere.
Yeah, it's a lawnmower. It's a riding lawnmower.
I was like, wait a minute. Like, is this some sort of like special tractor that like your dad had for like the garden, and it does like all the gardening fucking?
No, bro, you say tractor out here, they think like very large tractor.
Yeah, like a combine type fucking tractor.
Yes.
But,
yeah, we were assholes. It was bad.
What about the one and actually what I'm going to do is we're going to go ahead. We're going to conclude the audio version of this. We're going to hang out a little bit longer on YouTube Live, so everybody.
Fuck, have we been that long?
Yeah. We're gonna conclude the audio version of the podcast. So make sure you tune back in next week. We will be back next time. Our special guest. We're actually doing 2 episodes. It's going to be a special art episode. We're going out to Marsky Bar to feature all the art from our graphic designer Steve Freeman, and we're also going to be interviewing author TK Moore. And then the next day we will be interviewing Roses on Red, the bassist and the singer from Roses on Red. So make sure you check that out. And then December 4th we will be talking to Mr. Skin from MrSkin.com. So that should
be awesome.
And that's going to be right here on YouTube Live. And of course, for anybody listening at home, wherever you find your podcast, make sure you go over to the HHPod.com, pick up some merchandise. And for everybody listening at home, this is going to conclude our episode. We will see you guys next time. For everybody on YouTube Live, we're going to hang around for a little bit longer. And I mean, like, I remember like most of you, I think I kind of took over the torch when you moved. I kind of took over the torch for the Halloween parties after that. But I remember there was also a party that you had, and we walked up. What was it? Was it like the Highs or some shit? Like we all went up the Highs, and that was the year that me and Jess did Double Dare. And you had Beetlejuice, Gene Simmons, a guy from Double Dare, and Teen Wolf all walk into this place. And I swear to God, the guy that was in the place looked like he was getting ready to clench his gun. Like, what? Like, am I gonna have to fight my way out of here?
So that year was very rough for me. I had just broken up with a long-term girlfriend, and I thought, well, I'm having sex with this girl, right? She's a friend of mine, and there was another girl that I had been, let's face it, in love with for a very long time, which Billy could have elaborate on the Heather story. So I invited both of them to the party, and I'm thinking,
I hope she's not watching this.
What could go wrong at this point, right? There's two girls that are definitely into me, that this is gonna end well. It didn't. I
remember. Did Heather come to that party? Because that was a little bit later on, and I knew her from way back when. Like as we said a little bit on the pre-show, that all of our crews kind of like hung out with her. So
I
remember seeing her at the party.
She came twice.
So
she
are
came
we
twice to the party.
Heather, I know that I worked with.
Oh, what are you doing?
Okay.
Yes. So she came twice to the party. One was enjoyable. Actually both were enjoyable. When she was pissed off because I invited someone else, she left very angry.
You know what? I think I do remember that. I think because I drank a lot at that party, so I don't remember a lot from it.
I think that was our first interaction that night.
Okay. Yeah. Because I do remember a little bit with that, but that was hilarious though, because we all, and dude, you did such a good Beetlejuice. Like that was fucking just.
I think Beetlejuice is when I was with my wife now. So
okay.
I think it was the Halloween before that.
Okay.
That went sour pretty quickly.
What Halloween was that? Was that? I'm trying to remember, because I remember Halloween's based off of our costumes. And I'm trying to remember what we were, because we pretty much did your Halloween parties until you moved. And then we kind of took the torch of the Halloween parties after
I think
that.
I was the pimp that year.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that. Was that the year when Matt was Little Sweet?
I don't know.
Little Sweet was at my place. I think it was Old Greg. It might have been Old Greg.
I think it was Old Greg.
So it was probably Old Greg. And speaking of which, the Destroy Everything party, and I don't think I've ever asked her, but was my wife at that party? Because I know she normally came to all your.
So the way that party went was my parents had bought with the help of my brother. They bought the house next door to where they had always lived.
Okay.
And it was going to be let's destroy the house and we're gonna rebuild.
Yeah.
And it got fucking insane. So I had this party where I'm like, who gives a shit? You guys do whatever you want, because we're gonna tear down the house. We're gonna build a new one. And it was pretty insane. I mean, Matt came through the ceiling. He landed in my arms, and kind
of like a cartoon. Just okay, gotcha.
Yeah, dude, it was the craziest party I had ever been to in my life. Like, I legit was standing in the kitchen, and I'm like, "Hey, beer me!" And someone came through the wall with a fucking beer. It was the craziest party I had ever been involved with.
Like, you cut a rope and you ride the rope like up in the air or whatever, like in old school movies or whatever and all that. Like, you just somehow figure out how to do that. Like, cut it and boom, ride the rope.
We just broke shit. We had the opportunity to break shit, and we took advantage. It was awesome.
Was the house completely empty at that point? So it was like a completely empty house? Okay, cool.
The cabinets were in there still, but
that was the
cabinets.
That was the only rule. Don't break the cabinets, because the kitchen was pretty brand new.
And we ended up breaking some of the cabinets.
Yeah. Yes, they did.
If they were gonna knock the house down, what would it matter if? Oh, I guess they want to take that stuff out and like, okay,
reuse it.
Yeah,
and we ended up breaking it. We ripped one off the fucking wall. I remember like a cabinet.
Dude, every fucking cabinet on the wall you guys ripped off.
We fucked the place up a little bit.
There was a time I went to what was it? Camp Lejeune. My one friend Bobby, he was in the Marines, and they would always rent beach houses from Camp Lejeune. And we went up there one year, and we got drunk as shit. I remember we drove to Walmart at 2:00 in the morning. We were arguing with like a lieutenant at 2:00 in the morning because we wanted beer. They couldn't sell it to us, and he's like, "It's right there. We could just get it." And like we took turns driving there because the three of us were drunk. So like we kept on switching every 5 minutes so we could make sure we could get up and get back. And so we ended up having like, I don't know how we did it, but we tied a sheet from like railing to railing, and we made like a hammock. So like we kept on getting up on there, and then one of the sides came down, and one of us ran and just did like the Tarzan thing, won the fucking thing, and bumped into the cabinets and knocked like 3 of the cabinets off the wall. So after that, we were getting drunk and running across the counter and fucking just going into shit, knocking shit over. We had a food fight. There's fucking food everywhere. Like we destroyed that entire fucking beach house. And they're like, oh, whatever. It's an every weekend thing. They're Marines, whatever. We're just kind of like, what the fuck? So these guys,
dude, if you got a
whatever they want, like
if you got a place like a hotel or something like that near a fucking military base, your shit's gonna get fucked up all the time. Like fucking people in the military are fucking retarded. They get retarded. Sorry.
Trust me, if anybody knows that, Billy, you would.
There's some dumb motherfuckers in the military.
Yeah, and
I was one of them.
And guys, I think what we're gonna go ahead and do, I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to wrap the YouTube stuff. You know, I appreciate you guys coming out. This was our first ever Friendsgiving episode. Of course, unfortunately, Steve couldn't make it. Matt, I think, is being ass fucked by Bigfoot right now. I don't know what's going on with that, but we can always do this again. We can always do not so Friendsgiving episode because Friendsgiving is past, and then we'll come back and we'll have Matt and Steve with us and, you know, revisit some of these stories and get other opinions or whatever and all that. But you guys know how it works. I talk about it all the time on the podcast. It's live. Show goes on no matter what. And that's just the way it works. You need to roll with the punches, and, you know, card is subject to change as we say in pro wrestling. So, but no, guys,
I'm tucking that fucking bullshit under my shirt so it's not fucking going everywhere, man. It starts to like take a V, and it looks like 2 legs hanging off my face.
2 like bug antennas.
Yeah, I mean,
so you're looking at the dude from Anthrax. Who gives a shit?
It like if I move around, it's like, look, here's my chin pussy.
Dude, it's Scott Ian. It's okay.
I'll just fucking go like Full Manchu or something, and I'll bedazzle it or something. I don't know. Dye it pink.
And so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead. We're going to end our YouTube live episode. And of course, as I said, we will be back. You know, we will be back on the 27th with Steve, Style Master of Steve's art show, interviewing TK Moore. And then we will be back the following day with John Purefoy and Allison Purefoy from Roses on Red. So once again, thank you for tuning into the Happy Hour podcast right here exclusively on YouTube and YouTube Live. Thanks to Mike. Thanks to Billy. We will see you guys next time. And so, all right. So there's